Okay, I think that worked. I'm going to double check on YouTube to make sure that worked. Everything seems to be going fine. Let's see here if all this sound starts working and stuff like it's supposed to. Click live. Oh, yep. Okay, well, I don't know. I just kind of felt like going live because why not? Probably won't be anybody who shows up, and that's okay. This is more for fun, I suppose. I'm working on the last 2 steps for the whip boxes, where I'm getting the acrylic and the border put on, and they will be all done. And then all I need to do is the acrylic and the borders for the Eye of Stormlight, so the big one. Yeah. So if anybody's, here and wants to talk, that'd be fun. Let's see here. Is there anything that I can talk about, though, while we're doing this? I don't know. I guess things have just been going really well, and I'm really thankful. For those who don't know, I did reopen for orders again. I determined that I am able to accept orders through the end of the year and fulfill them next year. I thought at first that I needed to have them all done and shipped out by the end of the year, but that is not true. I can actually take orders through the end of the year. I just can't take any further orders after the end of the year. There we go. Wit box. So it's got, the acrylic that slides out. You can put your coin right in here. On the back, there is a hole at the top for hanging it on the wall, if that's something you want to do. And then down here are 2 slots that you can put, I call them legs, wooden legs into, so you can stand on a shelf like that. Here's what those look like. So then it just kind of, sits on a shelf. Just like that. Alright. 1 of 46. Let's see, what's been going on? Stadia got shut down, which is a little unfortunate. I really enjoyed it. I was a supporter from day 1. I got the Founders Edition within like 10 minutes of it being announced. Was able to get my preferred username, no numbers, which was awesome. So I was Scarlet of Stadia. But yeah, it's shutting down, which sucks for a lot of people. Stadia became their main way to play, because it was great to have a platform to play games on during the lack of platforms, so PS5s and Xbox Series X's and S's being sold out. I should probably push this little button thing that goes like this, and it says, like this video, or subscribe to the channel, kind of stuff. I'm supposed to be clicking that. So Stadia shut down. I kind of saw it coming. Google was always being kind of weird about Stadia. Stadia was actually quite the interesting adventure for me. I ended up on a Google advertisement, so that was kind of cool. I met all sorts of cool people and joined all sorts of cool things. I got to design a lot of awesome graphics for people in the Stadia community. Just overall, Stadia actually presented me with a lot of opportunities, not for games, but actually for everything else connected to games. I don't think I actually need these on, do I? There we go. Because it kind of hurts my head. Oh dear. So Stadia for me wasn't the games, funnily enough. It was all the people and the things that I got to do because of it existing. So I'm a little bit sad to see it go. I think Google actually had a really great opportunity and decided that they just weren't getting enough money from it to begin with. And it's like, you guys do know that these things take years, right? So Google got a little impatient with Stadia, it seems, and it's really a silly business practice. A lot of people actually were saying that they were going to refrain from buying the Pixel 7s or the Pixel Watch because they were just, that upset with Google. Also, one of my friends, Color TV, he poured almost 6,000 hours into Red Dead Online via Stadia. So he's, understandably very nervous that all of his progress is going to get lost. So a lot of people are hoping that he'll be able to transfer his stuff over onto another platform. That would be great. That'd be a lot of progress to lose. What else has been going on? I started working on the Roshar puzzle, and I've decided that 1,000 piece puzzles are not my thing. I prefer 500 or so. So that's been going slowly. Number 5, done. 41 to go. God of War Ragnarok comes out in a month. Very excited for that. We managed to get the Jotnar edition, which means there's going to be stuff to unbox. I'll be doing that over on scarletstream.com, where I do all of my video game kind of things on YouTube. I have not looked at what comes in the box in a long time, so I don't know if I remember everything that's coming, which is kind of fun. I know that there's going to be like dice. I'm pretty sure there's a steelbook. I think we're getting something big. I'm trying to actually not remember because it's a lot more fun. And just like last time, where Cassie helped me unbox the Horizon Forbidden West set, she will be helping me unbox the Jotnar edition for God of War Ragnarok. That'll be fun. Let's see here. Oh, these bookends that are right here. These are going to be available for pre-order starting January 1st. So maybe more like January 3rd. I don't know. That will be Kelstrom Donut in the chat. That's actually my husband. Hi, honey. He wants to know my thoughts on Pokemon. This one is fairly unfortunate because I love Pokemon. Pokemon has been in my life for my whole life, nearly. And I have so many dreams and goals and aspirations for Pokemon that are not being fulfilled as an adult fan of the series. I loved Detective Pikachu, the movie, because it was so much fun to get something that was a little bit more grown up and a little bit more convoluted. Like, the bad guy wasn't actually the bad guy, but the other guys were possibly the bad guys, but they were, everybody's trying to do the right thing, and I liked I loved the way that the Pokemon looked in the movie, and so I was like, this is going to be great. We're going to start getting maybe something a little bit more grown up, hopefully, in the games. That would be awesome. Didn't happen. Still play as like a 10-year-old. Though in Arceus, you're something like 16. So I had huge hopes that continually get squashed. And as some of you know, and as I've mentioned, my video gamer name is usually Scarlet. And when the titles for Gen 9 Pokemon were revealed as Scarlet Violet, it was so perfect because my gamer name is Scarlet, and I constantly use a purple heart emoji. So I was like, this is going to be great. It literally could not have been more perfect to fit my name. And once again, I've continued to be disappointed by what the game will actually be. It's exactly the same as all the previous games. And I don't even care that you're getting your legendary Pokemon at the very beginning. That doesn't change anything. Other than what is the ultimate goal. Well, supposedly you go on some kind of treasure hunt for your school. But it sounds like you get to decide whatever the treasure's going to be. Which, great. I will hand you a pencil then. This is my treasure. The Path of Legends, which is where you're supposed to hunt for Herba Mystica, just feels like I'm running an errand for some guy who's too lazy to do it himself. Trying to find these legendary herbs so that he can make awesome food. So as opposed to me getting to be like a Poke Chef, I am the gopher for another person who's going to be a Poke Chef. I don't get to be like, I don't get to pick a different path. I don't actually get to be anything but a Pokemon trainer. I don't get to run a Poke Center. I don't get to run a daycare. I don't get to run a breeding program. I don't get to be a chef. I don't get to be a showman. The showman thing is actually my favorite part. So in Pokemon Ruby, I played Pokemon Ruby on my Game Boy Advance. I think that was the first introduction of doing anything kind of showman or whatever, where you have to enter your Pokemon into various categories and, try to win. And one of my favorite parts in the TV show was actually Serena's journey of becoming a Pokemon showman. And the things that she had to do to practice and help her Pokemon, like, understand routines and stuff, Like, that was a lot of fun for me. It was like, this feels like a very natural thing that would happen in the Pokemon world. I mean, we do dog shows, like, all the time, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we'll start another pile. But they didn't do any kind of showman thing in Sword and Shield or in Arceus. So, lame. There is such a thing as too much customization, and I can already tell. In their latest 14-minute gameplay trailer, the person's like, oh, I could spend all day doing this, and they were talking about, like, you know, changing their eye color, their hair, and stuff like that. I'm like, does it really matter to a game like this, where, like, I don't know much about Cyberpunk 2077. It's not a game I'm interested in. But I do know that you can customize things about yourself, and you can actually... The modifications that you make to your body matter. So for a game like that, it makes sense to be able to, you know, change the most minute details of your character. But in Pokemon, they're like, here's like 50 different eye shapes. It's like, but why? The focus for the Pokemon games always is, let's do it exactly the same and only put something small in that's new. So they're like, we have 3 new paths. We have 3 paths that you can travel, 2 of which are brand new. No, I'm sorry. The Star Path is not brand new. The Star Path is just taking the Team Rocket adventure and making it separate. So as opposed to having Team Rocket blocking me the entire time, now I can purposefully go out to find Team Rocket. And this Herba Mystica path, I'm sorry, that's not a path. That's just, you've taken a gopher and claimed that it's, you know, something brand new as well. I could probably go on and on about Pokemon. I should probably stop there, though. I mean, I love Pokemon. I really do. I just hope for better. And I wish Nintendo would put their darn foot down on the Pokemon Company. But they won't. Hubby in the chat saying, positive topic time. How do you feel about his Dark Materials? I love the books, and I have loved the first 2 seasons so much. They are well written. They did one of the best changes that I think they could have done. So book 1, Golden Compass, follows the main female character and goes through her whole story for that book. There's, you know, no other points of view, whatever. And then the Subtle Knife, book 2, follows the main boy character and his adventure and his backstory and all of that. And it coincides with the first book. So actually everything that's happening in the second book is happening at the same time as the first book. And they did that really well by showing these 2 main stories in the TV show. In a way that just made so much sense, that you didn't have to go through a whole season getting to know one character and then to another season getting to know another character. You got to spend both seasons following their stories and how they, you know, match up and stuff. And the season 3 trailer, I watched it yesterday, and it just looks so good. I am so happy with this adaptation. There have been changes, yes, but I think they've been really good changes. So one of the changes being that We got more background on like the gypsies and stuff. That was tons of fun. I really enjoyed how they built up their culture, and made them a sympathetic group. A group that we can relate to and understand, as opposed to just being another group in the story. The CGI looks fantastic. I love how they're doing the demons, or demons, I suppose, and how they shift and all of that. I've liked how they've done the kind of more mystical side of things, so like the dust and the portal threads and all of that. The subtle knife story. Having read book 3, I know all of the scenes that they're showing in the trailer, and I'm just like, yes, 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 and yes. All of it looks so good. Like, one point you even see the captured angel. It looks just awesome. Like, I don't know if I can come up with any other word other than awesome. And sad, because, angels and stuff. But there's a question, and maybe this might be a slight spoiler for people, but also I feel like it's not a spoiler, because I feel like they've alluded to it in seasons 1 and 2. But, there's a line where the dad, he's like, we're fighting a war. And the other guy's like, against who? And they don't answer that question. But it's pretty implied because they keep showing you angels and stuff. So the war is against God. Because they feel that through the original sin of Adam and Eve, dust had settled upon people as they got older. And this is what caused them to continue to sin. And so they feel that dust comes from God. And that in order to make it, go away, is to kill God. I don't know. It's just a really interesting story. And they did such good justice to it. Considering how terrible the movie was. Which leads me to Percy Jackson. I'm a big Percy Jackson fan. Percy Jackson books. All right here. Our oldest daughter is finally reading them too, so that's been a lot of fun. She's been asking all these questions and stuff and trying to come up with her own solutions. And she doesn't know Greek, Roman, Norse mythology as well as my husband and I do. But the Percy Jackson movies were not good. They were okay, but they were not good. And I'm very, very excited by what I have seen for the Percy Jackson TV show. And I know this is 2 totally different studios. I mean, it's Disney doing Percy Jackson, and it's like HBO or something doing His Dark Materials or whatever. I don't know who's doing it. But I'm so excited. The characters look awesome. I am totally okay with any racial changes being made, because honestly, there needs to be more racial diversity in TV shows anyway. But not only that, the race of these characters is not integral to the characters. Like, well, okay, no, there's a few characters later on in the books who it does matter. So like Hazel, she needs to be half black or black, because part of her backstory is how she was treated in the past and stuff. So that part does matter. But for characters like Annabeth or Grover, or, I mean, shoot, even Percy. Like, Percy doesn't have to be a white kid, but I'm fine that he is. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, I really like a lot of the changes that they're making for this show already as well. It looks great. I'm excited to watch this with my kids. I feel like there's not enough fantasy or fun TV shows that I can watch with my kids that aren't animated. So, we watch She-Ra and Voltron, and we watch the He-Man ones, and I'd like to get them into, the first few seasons of Young Justice. The Dragon Prince, Avatar, Korra, that kind of stuff. So we've watched a lot of shows together, but it's actually really hard to find live action shows that are kid friendly, while still being entertaining for the adults. So I'm very excited for Percy Jackson. Huge fan of the books. It looks great. Yeah. Which also makes me think of Aragon. So there was, Christopher Paolini himself even started this. He's like, let's get an Aragon reboot. Let's get the movie that you guys want. So there's going to be a new Aragon movie, which I'm so excited for. I'd be okay with the same actor who played Brom, which I can't remember his name. Brom actor. Oh, no, it wasn't Jeremy Irons. It was the other guy that I'm thinking of. So not Jeremy Irons. Who plays, what's his name? J.R. Bourne. I would actually like to see J.R. Bourne play Brom. To me, the way he looks is actually pretty much how I always imagined Brom. He plays Russell Lightbourne in The 100. He plays Marduk in Stargate. Of course, that's when he was like way younger. And he's been in quite a few things that the way he looks is exactly what I think Brom should look like. And I also just really need them to not make Aragon look like a surfer dude. I don't want surfer Aragon again. And I don't know, there's so much good stuff in the Aragon series that I would just love to see it be done right this time around. That's probably still a couple years away. I'm fine with waiting. Yeah. What else do we have on here I can talk about? Oh, Breath of the Wild 2, Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of you know how much I thoroughly enjoyed Breath of the Wild. It's the only Zelda game I have personally played. I've seen others played by other people, so my husband, he has played Skyward Sword, and I watched him play that. And then the new Link's, or the remake of Link's Awakening, watched him play that. Breath of the Wild was just right up my alley. Open world, explore at your own pace, make Zelda wait an extra 5 years before I even go help her. Crafting, cooking, the cooking. Everybody uses gliders now, which is funny. And it just looked good. It was just such a nice art direction. So Tears of the Kingdom, coming out in May of next year, hopefully. Same art style, totally fine with that, because it looks amazing. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Kirby looks very similar throughout all of its games, and so does Mario now. And that's okay. I love the way the Breath of the Wild looks. I'm very excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Short-haired Zelda. I really so hope that this time isn't going to just be another rescue the damsel in distress kind of thing. I hope that we get to do something with Zelda this time. This is not... She does not seem like a Zelda who just sits and lets other people do stuff for her. I'd really like to, you know, play something as her. In the Jak and Daxter 3, so Jak 3, older game, some of you guys may not even actually know what those games are. In Jak 3, there were occasional times where you got to play as Daxter, who was his little companion, because he could do things that Jak couldn't. And that would be, like, the very base of what I would hope to do with, like, Zelda. Like, some things that only Zelda can do. But I'd like it to be more than that. I'd like it to be something more along the lines of Zelda's actively helping fix things, you know, taking down Ganon or whatever. And whatever the heck's gonna go on with Ganon. Oh boy. That first trailer, you know, 2-3 years ago, or whatever it was, when his corpse twitches its head over and his eyes glow, I'm like, ah! But in a good way. I don't know. I'm really excited for this game too. I feel like there's a lot of games to look forward to. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I do wonder if there's gonna be a Tears of the Kingdom Switch. Definitely gonna try and get whatever collector's edition may happen for that. In fact, next year, speaking of that, well, starting in November and all of that, there's actually going to be a decent amount of unboxing videos that I'll be able to do on here and on ScarletStream.com. I'll be unboxing God of War Jotnar Edition on ScarletStream.com in November. And then in January, once a month, I should be able to start doing the Year of Sanderson boxes. So I'll be going live with those and opening those up every month next year. Let's see. So that's a minor part of what some of our plans are for this channel. So if that interests you at all, please be sure to... Is it gonna work? Like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also, you know, subscribe to ScarletStream.com as well. That would be fantastic to know whenever I go live or post up a new video. I'm not 100% sure what all of our plans are. I know that there's going to be videos from Jason. There's going to be videos from me. And then, because this is the Carly and Jason channel, there will be videos from both of us. We'll continue to do our reviews in the dark, where we talk about movies and TV shows. Currently, you know, we're in the middle of Rings of Power. We'll definitely be doing a review in the dark for Black Panther. So excited for that. That's going to be tons of fun. I'm really excited for the addition of Namor, and how he's not really going to be a bad guy. I mean, I'm sure to, like, the Wakandans or something, it's like, you're a terrible person, but the story of who Namor is really casts him more as, like, an anti-hero. So we'll do a review in the dark for that. And then, of course, we'll be doing any reviews next year as well. Maybe even do some book reviews for, like, the secret projects. Or shoot, even the Lost Metal. Yeah. Whew. I'm not used to talking to myself. I am normally when I'm home alone, which Jason's at work, and the kids are with my parents. I'm at the beach. When I'm home alone, I say almost nothing. I sit in complete silence. We're at 30. Wit box is done, by the way. I sit in, kind of complete silence and either play a game or work on displays or whatever other, project I have going on at that time. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm definitely going to have to get myself a face cam. I'm actually using my husband's face cam. I bought him a face cam and the Elgato microphone. And I've been using my DSLR. Great camera, except when you try to use it as a face cam, it only does like 720 at 30 FPS. And that's because the cords, this is my understanding, is that the cords used to attach the camera to the computer are that, like, weird micro USB to USB 2, and USB 2 can't do what USB 3 does, which is like 60 frames per second and 1080. So I've been using my husband's face cam for this video, and it's way clearer than my camera, so I may need to get myself a face cam. I'm waiting to see what kind of deals are going on, though. Amazon has deals coming up on, like, the 11th. And then, we got Black Friday around the corner. Considering getting an Apple Air as well. I don't know if anybody here has a, has an Apple iPad Air or whatever, or has some experiences they'd like to share. I'd like to know your experience. Considering getting one, though, because Jason and I started working on a funny little comic called Haunting Zombies. You can actually find it on Instagram, called Haunting Zombies. We got someone in the chat, Trey Cooper. Hello. Welcome to my ramble stream, I suppose. We're at 32 wit boxes done. Oh, Trey says, my wife has an iPad Air and she loves it. Well, good. I mean, I know I can, like, read reviews and stuff online, but I prefer to get somebody who, like, actually responds in the moment. So the purpose of getting an iPad Air is I'm hoping to do more hand-drawn kind of graphics and illustrations and stuff, but also my hope is that it'll be a lot easier to produce the Haunting Zombies comic, because we've got a lot of really funny storylines that we want to tell with that. But the way I've been doing it is I've actually been creating it in Illustrator, which can take a lot of time as opposed to, like, drawing it in, like, Photoshop or Illustrator. So that's my hope with an iPad Air. Holding off to see if, they get any kind of decent sale around the Prime Day or the Black Friday or whatever. Or maybe some free stuff to go with it. I don't know. I am not somebody who's like, I have to use Apple for everything, or I have to use Windows for everything. I am somebody who will use the right tool for the right job. I have a MacBook Pro, and I love using that. And then I have the computer I'm using right now is Windows, and I have a computer for my laser that's just like a all-in-one computer screen thing that's also Windows, because Apple doesn't go very well with Trotec right now. Trey in the comments saying the Apple Pencil and art apps are really powerful on the iPad, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to, is using an Apple Pencil actually, and then Photoshop as well. Oh, okay. Trey also saying, I got one of your WIT double eye displays the first time you made them. So you're one of, like, my OG supporters. That's really awesome. Thank you, thanks for being here. Let's see who you were. Cooper. Assuming you were probably order 132. So yeah, you were way back in the beginning. That's awesome. Thank you. I've occasionally bumped into people, on here, or actually in the Flamecraft Facebook page. There was one person who I bumped into on the Facebook page, and her name was like familiar, and so I looked her up, and she was like one of the first 50 people to order a display. Man, orders were nuts in the beginning, and that was so much fun. When I first opened for orders in like November of 2019, so 2020, November 2020, because I have a full 2-year license, but that was such a crazy afternoon. And I was just blown away by the support. Like, I was expecting 50, maybe 100 orders, because people were, going to be put off by how long it might take. But orders just kept coming in. Like, you guys, you Sander fans, have made this whole experience amazing. Had I made only 50, I still would have been happy. But I've made almost 1,000 at this point, and that's crazy. Hang on one second. Okay, Trey says, also a friend of Mark, and here's Sanderson beta reader. That's so cool. Okay, question: how did you even manage? How did you get into that? Like, do you send in like an email and be like, I'm interested in being a beta reader, or did like Mark recommend you? I don't think I could handle being a beta reader, but I love that people get to do that. Like, that's just really cool that beta readers and whatever get to, have a direct say in how this all works, and I think that's really neat. I think a lot of people thought there would be a limited number, like the tarot cards or some of the other limited license deals. Yeah, I can see that having been, my husband in the chat saying that he could be a beta reader. So, Trey Cooper, why don't you hook my husband up on getting beta readership? I don't think I could handle it. I would just want to tell everybody what's going on. But yeah, so with the other thing though is a lot of people I think were getting their orders in because the sooner you ordered, the sooner you got your display. Because I'm very much a first in, first out kind of crafter. Like I don't ship like USA first and then international or whatever. Or but also I do, and I hope this doesn't come across as like a bragging thing, but I do wish, or no, not wish, what was I saying? I do think that my display was providing not just something cool and collectible, but also useful, because people had these coins and they're like, great, what am I supposed to do with these coins? Like, just lay them down, keep them in my pocket, put them in a wallet. And so I made something that was actually useful and cool, so beautiful and practical, whatever. Yeah, and so my husband's saying, he's like, I could handle being a beta reader, but he's much too busy to even be a beta reader. And this is true. My husband does a lot. Trey's saying he was beta before Mark. His first gamma was Shadows Beneath Anthology. Mostly I have an English creative writing background and became friends with Peter through JordanCon. Oh, and you're even staff at JordanCon. Oh, that's cool. I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to imply that, like, Mark was, like, the top dog or whatever. I just made an assumption that, you know, you saying you were a friend of Mark, that maybe Mark got you into it. He tends to just get people into things. He's very insidious that way. Jason saying, your ideas for a new one, if they let you do a new one, are pretty great. I do have ideas for another coin display, and I would so love to be able to make another coin display, or even if it's not a coin display, doing a pin display. I have ideas, let's just say. I have ideas for some really cool and actually quite colorful this time. I have access to really cool colored woods, and you can see some of them on the Settlers of Catan board that I make. That's posted onto dragonwoodshop.com. That's just like 6 of the 30 different colors that I have access to. So I have an idea for something really cool and really colorful. So if anybody from Dragon still hears this, just know I'm very happy to work with you guys again. But I do know that with Brandon getting, you know, so much recognition, he is leaning more toward people who can do manufacturing stuff, like high quality manufacturing stuff, and less towards handmade, which is, you know, kind of unfortunate. Oh, thanks, Trey. I appreciate that. The Catan board is quite beautiful. I've gone through like 11 different iterations on that. And each one looked really nice, but finding these colored woods just took it to a whole next level that I was like, this is exactly the board I've been trying to make for the last 2 years, and didn't have the resources and materials to do so until just recently. Actually sold a board to Argent, and he just thinks it's awesome. Trey saying, yeah, it's unfortunate, but also the nature of that kind of growth. So yes, and I don't know if it's kind of obvious here, but we've got like a 10-15 second delay or something. Almost done, only got like 5 more wit boxes to do. I'm not like mad at Brandon or anything. I can't be mad at him. Like, he's so successful, and that's really cool. I like seeing people that do good stuff be successful. But it does kind of suck, because, I mean, it's not just me. It's how many other, you know, handcrafters and stuff. And that's not to say every thing that's handcrafted is going to be immediately discluded. Is that a word? It does, it does make me worry, though, that even though Brandon has the goal of anything manufactured still needs to be high quality, companies are always going to try and find a way to cut corners to make more money. And we're actually talking about the Stormlight miniatures. I am thoroughly enjoying that we're finally getting, like, canon appearances for some of these things. Should probably do this little thing too. Boop. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, whatever. That we're getting these canon appearances, and that Brotherwise has been able to work with Isaac and, figure out some of these things. But I feel like a lot of the choices they've been making don't quite work. And maybe this comes from the point of view of somebody who's a fan of the series, but not an RPG player or someone who uses miniatures. I think there's a lot of really good stuff in the campaign, but some of the things that I feel like would have worked better, one of them being Dalinar's pose. My husband and I were talking about this. Dalinar's pose, they recently shared a couple of the concepts, and one of them was when he's already brought his two hands together and there's the pillar of light that is the opening of the perpendicularity. I actually think that would have worked so much better than when he's like this, bringing his hands together, because it feels like an incomplete motion. Another one being Shallan. She's not a warrior. So why is her shard blade the most prominent thing for her character? She is an artist. I feel like that would have made so much more sense. Again, I'm not saying like this is a terrible Kickstarter. I mean, I'm supporting it. I'm getting the Chol, because I think the Chasm Fiend, because I think it looks awesome. And I would probably get a Chol if they had a Gargantuan Chol printout to buy as well. And I think the figurines are neat. It's just, I'm also just not like a miniatures and figurine person. And so I'm really not the right market for this. Trey saying, yeah, I think some things are going to be divisive. The Dalinar moment, I think it would have been a difficult decision. And I agree. I mean, I know that they're making the best decisions that they can. And they're also making decisions based on what Isaac and Brandon say. And that's okay. This is a business, whatever. There's just, things that maybe I would have done differently. And I'm sure there's how many other people who are like, I would have done this differently. Trey saying the Shallan Shardblade, I think, is probably for being in the game eventually, and I do understand that. But if you go into a game and you say, this is my character, her name is Shallan, and she is an artist, and she likes to draw, and she's very good at it, and she generally doesn't do much fighting. But she has an alternate personality named Radiant, who does do the fighting. Okay, so then we need to have two separate figurines for this. We need to have Shallan as the artist, and then we need to have Radiant. So, like, you have two figurines so that you can trade in Radiant when it's fighting time. Because we know from the books, hopefully I'm not spoiling anything for you, Trey, but we know from the books that they willfully trade places. And Radiant knows that this is what she is made for, is to do the fighting. Instead we have Shallan with, a sword, and I don't think we even have a Radiant miniature. It feels like there's not care being given to the actual character personality in a few of these. Not all of them. Some of them look perfect as they are. I mean, Pattern is Pattern. I think, he looks exactly like Pattern should. There's a couple others I could probably say. So I am so pleased with what Brother Wise is doing. I just think that there's some things that could have been done just a little bit better. For me, basically, they have an A-. They're easily passing the class. There's just some things that I would have made changes to. Not that I'm an expert, but this is coming from me as a fan. Trey is saying, I think the Troll has a reasonable possibility of being included in the tiers as a figure and not just a file. He says he's caught up through Secret Project 4 and Lost Metals, so no Cosmere spoiler danger for me. Good. I should probably actually even say in places, it's like, I will freely talk about things and probably spoil any books you haven't read. Well, I have finished all 46 wit boxes, so all that's left to do is the 46 Eye of Stormlights. I'm also waiting on the insert cards. Those have been updated. I'm very excited to show those off. I've updated their look. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming, Trey. Appreciate that. And thanks, Honey, for being here. I always like that you come and check out my videos and stuff. Trey says, I'd say that is probably true. I'm getting the big statue, and I do love it, but that pose is a place where Cal and Zeth would have already killed each other. Zeth is way inside of Kaladin's guard, and Kaladin could easily kill Zeth right there. It's not quite the right fighting pose. Yeah. And especially if you compare to, like, Sideshow or First Four Figures, like, their statues are amazing. But anyway, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go have some lunch. You have a great weekend as well, and yeah, bye.